The first thing you will probably want to do after creating your Audiofeed account is to configure your feed settings. The goal for this tutorial is to configure our feed so we are ready to create our first episode. Let's get started. From your dashboard page, click on one of the feed settings links. The first thing we will want to do is give our feed a name. Enter a title that makes sense for your feed. I'm going to use the Audiofeed experience for this tutorial. The next field is your podcast feed URL and is only needed if you're going to submit your audio feed to podcast networks. We will cover that in a future tutorial, so we can ignore this for now. The next step is to upload an image. After dropping in your image, you can drag the image to crop it correctly into a square aspect ratio. Now it's time to enter a description. This is used on your public feed page. I'll add some clever description text of my own, but you can put whatever makes sense for the type of feed you will be creating. If you scroll down a bit more, you can change the order of the episodes when they are displayed on your feed. I'll leave it at the default. If you are building an ordered series, such as narrating the chapters of a book, or building a podcast with defined seasons, you might want to change the ordering. The feed path allows you to control the public URL of your feed page. This is helpful for shareability and branding. I'm going to change my path to Audiofeed-Experience. There are some additional feed settings that you can view by clicking the Advanced Feed Settings section. These settings will be covered in a future tutorial when we discuss submitting our audio feed to podcast networks. Now we can click the Save button to save all of our feed settings. Success, we are good to go. If you scroll back up to the top, you can also configure your episode defaults. These settings set default values that are used when creating new episodes. The first two fields are for configuring consistent intro and outro segments for your episodes. We will cover these in a future tutorial titled Saved Segments. You can turn on videos for all new episodes. We will also be covering creating videos in a future tutorial. Finally, we can configure a default host. The host is the voice that will be used when creating new episodes. You can always override this when creating your episode, but it can be helpful to set up a default. You can click the play button to hear a sample of the host's voice. I will go ahead and select Adam as my host. Now we are ready to click the Save button to save our episode defaults. Looks like we are good to go. However, we should look to see what our feed looks like so far. If you scroll up and click on the small avatar bubble, you can select the Feed option from the menu. This will take you to your current feed. As you can see, we don't have any episodes yet, but that's for our next tutorial.